guys, Nikki here with beautyjador.com. So I wanted to do a quick tutorial on the quilting process. I received quite a few emails in reference to what tools are needed, is it difficult? So I hope this video kind of spells everything out for you guys. If you have any additional questions, feel free to shoot me over an email at nikki@beautyjador.com. So before you get started, there's a few things that you'll need. One being a sewing machine. You most definitely need a sewing machine for this particular project, as well as your batting. So you can pick your batting up pretty much anywhere. Joann's, Hancock, any local fabric store, as well as craft stores. They all pretty much carry batting. So you need your fabric, you're going to need pins, and you're going to need scissors for this. Keep in mind that if your particular fabric that you're using and your pattern calls for a 36 by 45 inch piece of fabric, I'm just going to use that as an example. Instead of cutting it 36 by 45, you want to cut it maybe 37 and a half by 46 and a half. Because when you quilt this, you're not going to be able to use the edges of that particular piece of fabric. So it's kind of going to be a waste at the end. So I'll show you what I mean by that when I go through the process. So I've gone ahead already and I've cut a piece of fabric. So if this is your wrong side of the fabric right here, you want to cut your piece of batting exactly to the dimensions of your fabric. You want to place it in the middle. So again, this is the wrong side here, and this is the wrong side of this particular piece of fabric. Then you want to go ahead and pin it. And just kind of pin it so that it doesn't move. So what I like to do is just kind of stick 3 pieces or 3 pins on each side. And as you begin to sew, you'll notice that there's going to be some movement. It's not a big deal that it's not perfect around the edges, so don't worry about that. So you want to go ahead and pin it. So don't worry about the inside of it. It's not a big deal as long as the perimeter is secure. Then we want to move over to the sewing machine. You always want to use a corresponding stitch that kind of matches and doesn't clash too much. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use this white. So what you want to do is you want to start the needle in a diagonal right in the middle of the presser foot. So for this particular stitch, you're just going to go ahead, and there's no need to double stitch at the end. It's not really required. So this is your first stitch. Now for your second stitch, what you want to do is you want to put the presser foot on the actual stitch that you just made. And then you want to move the needle over to the left. So all the stitches going forward, you're not going to mess around with the position of the actual needle. Make sure you do get to the end though. And you want to go all the way off of the fabric. You're making sure that you're doing a full stitch. So again, this next stitch, you want to place the presser foot on the stitching. And just continue to go. And then for the next stitch, do the same thing. And again, just make sure that you're starting right on the edge. That way you're getting all the stitching in. keep going. And this other stitch here is your stitch line that you need to concentrate on, just to make sure that they're straight lines. So, this gives you your stitching pattern. So, this is the simple process of quilting. What you need to do once you've actually finished quilting the entire piece of fabric is just trim the edges. And you have a great piece of fabric here. I would definitely prepare myself because it can be a bit time consuming. It's a really easy process, as you've seen, but can take a while just kind of creating each piece of fabric, especially if you're creating a full quilted garment. So I hope I didn't confuse anyone. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me over an email at nikki@beautysadore.com. Thank you guys.